A slave not capable of defending the day of its revolt does not deserve freedom.
These are the words of Ibraham Traore, a man who has been able to take Burkina Faso in less than 24 months to be the fastest developing country in West Africa and Africa by extension. In the last 2 years, Burkina Faso, which was a zone, a den for terrorism, have now been able to rise above that. Burkina Faso today have more volunteers defending their homeland because just one single man, Ibrahim Traore, has been able to enshrine in the people what is called patriotism. Just a few days ago, someone asked me, would I rather want a Tinubu above Ibrahim Traore? And I looked at him and I tell him, craze the word in your head. You must be an illiterate to ask me such a silly and dumb question. Let us take a look at Ibrahim Traore. Are you aware that the Ivory Coast in a couple of months will have an election, and the former president, Laurent Gbagbo, has said if he wins that election, he is going to leave Ecowas and join the Alliance of the Sahel States, AES, saying that Ecowas under the leadership of Tinubu has been nothing but abysmal, filled with corruption, uncertainty, and of course, oblivion. Back home here in Nigeria, we all are clamoring and crying that we have never seen a terrible leadership like this man called Tinubu. In fact, in the last 24 years, never has there been a time that Nigerians will troop into the street and praise the Nigerian army to come into power. A testimony, a testament that ECOWAS indeed are just heading towards final destruction. Because, as it were, whatever this man touches is dead. What he is all about is state capturing. In the last 1 year to 6 months that Tinubu has been in power, we have seen the lowest recruitment into the Nigerian army. In fact, I can tell you that the Igbos, the Southeasterners, would rather join the Biafran Liberation Army over joining the Nigerian army. Because nobody believes in this man anymore. Because of this man's leadership, Nigerians have lost patriotism. The diaspora fund, that is diaspora remittances, the Nigerian people sent back home has drastically reduced. Because people are taking away their investments. People do not trust, do not believe in the leadership. And this is why a man in Burkina Faso today has been elected as the best leading head of state. That tells you that everything that comes in black is not necessarily evil. In fact, Ibrahim Traore said that it is the imperialism that made us think that the color black means evil. That before the imperialism, in Burkina Faso, the color for money was blue. But again, when the colonial masters came to Africa, you know what they did? They brainwashed our mindset. They told us that democracy is the best form of governance. But I don't think the Burkina babes, I don't think the Nigers, the Malians will want to go back to democracy as we speak. And I don't think if you ask the Nigerian people, this very moment, shall we adopt military system or we retain this democracy? I think you know what they'll pick. So Ibrahim Traore has been charging, investing in the people, so much so good that they have been able to recruit over 1 million volunteers into their military. And for today, as we speak, they have taken over their gold mines, they have taken over their homelands. Their mantra now is today, homeland or death. They are saying that not in their lifetime will terrorism, imperialism, tell them what to do, suppress them, subvert them, that they will rather die from the homeland. And this is what we call the highest level of patriotism. Don't forget, Burkina Faso does not have so much wealth like Nigeria. But in 1 year, Ibrahim Traore has been able to reduce the excessive cost of subsidies that used to be in the former leaders. What they tell them that they spend over 400 million sefa to subsidize oil. Just under 24 months of Ibrahim Traore, he has reduced it from 400 million to 100 million sefa. Now imagine what will happen when we have revolutionary leaders like that. I repeat again, Ibrahim Traore says a slave who cannot defend the day of his revolt and be ascertained on it does not indeed deserve freedom. And I think this is the problem we have. And we know those people who have been on this issue of seeking for freedom in Nigeria for the past 6 years, which are, of course, are the Biafrans, which is ably led by Simon Ekpa as we speak today. A person like Tinubu will not have a free day if everybody imbibes the spirit of these Biafrans. If everybody seek for good governance and everybody's ready to go out there and call these leaders to order, we do away with hypocrisy and sycophancy. Why would Nigeria be the best nation in Africa? Today, we don't know what we spend on subsidy. We have been told that we spend nothing less than $8 billion, which amounts to over 10 trillion naira, which, of course, when we ask them, show us the books, they tell us we don't know the amount of liters that we consume on a daily basis. You can see the opaqueness democracy brings, indiscipline. Because again, the Nigerian people have been captured, and the leaders that we've had over the years do not want us to be aligned. And then I go back to Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore was asked a question in one of his interviews that why is it different? He said, why wouldn't he be different? Because a leader, a visionary leader that loves the homeland will ensure that the people do not fall asleep. This is why it is important that all Burkina babes go to school without paying a kobo. Shall we go back to Nigeria? I think we know what we are doing. In the last 1 year, Tinubu came on board and he removed subsidies on education. He removed subsidies on critical social infrastructures that were supposed to help educate the people. This is a man who came and cancelled a very famous and functional program created by Buhari, which is the Anchors Borrowers for farmers. What do we have in place today? He's saying education loan fund. We have the resources. We have the manpower. We have everything to make life good and better for the Nigerian people. And again, this is why the Biafrans keep agitating. This is why the Biafrans are saying that you cannot put us in this slavish state looking at the resources God has given to us. These are the words of the Biafrans. That they have the gas, they have the oil. Then why should we be living like a slave, like a beggar? I tell you, Ibrahim Traore is doing something wonderful for the Burkina babes, and I think the Burkina Fasos are even ready to lay their lives on the line for Ibrahim Traore, which I doubt will ever happen in Nigeria for as long as we, the young ones, want to remain cowardly. We just want to be the sycophants. And don't forget, I know people talk about the tribalism, people talk about the diversity. Burkina Faso are not homogeneous. Yes, when we look at their religion, they might be perhaps 80% Muslims. But let me tell you, oneness is man-made, diversity is God-created. God created diversity. It is the man that brings people together. It is the man that ensures that there is oneness. If we go to Tanzania, tribalism is criminalized. This was passed into their constitution by their very first Prime Minister, Julius Nyerere, who said that anyone that wants to go for any political post for any time, any day, he comes and says that we are the majority tribe, such person must be denounced and he must be divorced and rejected. And we saw it, and ever since then, the tribalized country in Africa today is Tanzania. And look at the level of development they are enjoying over there. If you look at it, oneness is man-made. So the Nigerian people must understand that enough of the excuse when we are talking about the diversity. Unfortunately, we've not had a leader that will come and help us believe in this country. We haven't had such a leader that will come and help us to be more patriotic. You know, the words of Obasanjo once again resonate with me when he says that Tinubu has been a president who came into power without any form of preparation. That Tinubu came on board. He had no agenda. He came on board only to promote the Yoruba people. And by the way, I am Yoruba. But of course, I am objective and I love this country above anybody. So my agreement to the statement of Obasanjo are these. He said, no foreign international nation will ever take Nigeria responsible unless this man leaves the power. That while he was in power, that's Obasanjo, that while he was in power, the hardest thing he did wasn't seeking for third term, but again, getting debt relief. That Tinubu has been begging all around, going to France, going to Paris, going to England, sending people to America because we know he cannot step into America, seeking for debt relief. You know, this is not going to get, because all his policies are being riddled with what? Lies, deception. A man who has not been fiscal transparent, no fiscal responsibilities. A man who came on board in 3 months, went to buy a yacht, bought a private jet over 150 billion. So I am not surprised when Ivory Coast said, we will leave Ecowas, join the alliance of the Sahel states, which is ably led by Ibrahim Traore. So Africans, Nigerians, I'm going to reiterate that quote again. A slave that is not confident about the day of his revolt does not deserve freedom. Let us ask ourselves that question. For how long are we going to remain in this state? Thank you.